The character in Sense and Sensibility, I think that reflects Jane Austen more than anybody else, is Eleanor. And Eleanor has a wonderful dry wit, and brilliantly played in our piece by Hetty Moynihan.
Eleanor is very rational, very cautious, very sane. She's extremely sane and very calm. She's in a great contrast to her sister, her younger sister. It's a sort of rites of passage, I suppose, where they both fall in love at different stages and have huge obstacles in terms of their love life and the people they fall in love with, but they both approach it in different ways. So Eleanor keeps everything to herself and is forced to keep a very big secret about the man she's fallen in love with, and why she can't, it appeared, why she won't be able to marry him, to herself, and nobody else knows that. Whereas Marianne, her sister, tells everyone everything, and if she feels something she'll show it, and is much more indiscreet and passionate, and Eleanor's passionate but in a very restrained way.
I may not have shown it, Marianne, but let me assure you I have been very unhappy.
It's a particular kind of social upbringing, but it's also in her character, I think, as well. That's just her way. There's a way that things should be shown, there's a way that things should be handled, and she's always trying to teach her younger sister how to behave, and fails. Marianne's far too spirited.
Three daughters, all very different. There's the elder one who's very practical, very grown up, seems to be able to cope with everything.
We have to be practical.
And the middle one who's just incredibly passionate and flighty and gorgeous.
When I fall in love, it will be forever.
And the younger one who's basically just fab. She's very young, very mad, very out there.
If I were a brother instead of sister, I would fight Willoughby and kill him with my sword.
Well, then it's a good job you're not. For I would hate to see you hang for murder.
And I think Janet has been a fantastic Mrs. Dashwood, because I think I think Jane Austen's quite hard on mothers a lot of the time, but Janet's managed to portray a mother who isn't weak or giggly or any of those things. She manages to still have a strength and a confidence.
She's quite strong about her girls. She's just not terribly practical. She's more like the middle one and the younger one than she is like the elder one, Eleanor. Yeah, she's quite romantic. She's quite sort of emotional. She doesn't cope with practicalities terribly well, but then she wasn't really brought up to. She was brought up to be incredibly wealthy in this lovely house and be a grand lady. She never had to deal with debt or money or things like that.
This adaptation is invested in the male characters in a great deal.
The character I play in this is called Willoughby, John Willoughby, although you don't ever hear him referred to as John Willoughby. Well, yeah, he is flawed, but I think I'd like to think of him as just a young man who's confused and doesn't really know what he wants and is searching to find what he wants, and I don't think he means any harm.
I can't understand it, Eleanor. We were like two halves of the same soul. It's contemptible.
Yeah, I don't think there's really any excusing his behaviour in that department.